Morning, morning, morning. How is everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Hello. Oh. Oh, got my coffee. Got my coffee. Morning, everyone. Morning. Good morning. Another very early morning here in the UK. Oh, sorry. Mod, Nightbot. I need to loosen Nightbot. It's getting a little bit overzealous this morning. Oh, I hope everyone's good though. Hope everyone's good. Oh, look, the live data's all ready for us. This is the amount of... Hang on a second. There we go. Emotes. There we go. Done. Sorry, Robert. Morning, everyone. Morning. Now that's sorted. Nightbot's I've loosened its grip a little bit. Hope you're doing good. And you're ready for a busy day of F1. So, no rain forecast by the looks of it. It's saying 0% chance in the third practice session. Not sure if that's the case for qualifying. As we looked yesterday in Suzuka in Japan, not Suzuka, Poland, it is maybe a small percentage of rain for the qualifying later on this afternoon. So, we'll see. But morning, Mark. Morning. Oh, from Bali. Unbelievable. You probably... from Bali. Unbelievable. Kelvin, good to see you, mate. Always from Kenya. I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, I've got my coffee. I'm well rested. I'm looking forward to a day of racing. So, a little bit of information yesterday about Jack Doohan, I think that is very pertinent, is that Jack Doohan decided to, and it was confirmed, decided to close his DRS too late, or not close his DRS at all. He allowed it to close automatically when he eventually touched the brake or lifted off. He did that in the sim and thought that he could gain a little bit of extra time, except it backfired massively on him. So... yeah, not sure why he thought that was a good idea and that would correlate well from the sim to the track. I get performance is close in these cars, but the reward doesn't outweigh the risk, in my personal opinion, for keeping the DRS open for as long as possible there. But yes, apparently he went into that barrier at 185 miles an hour. Oof. That is unbelievable. 3:30 p.m. Saturday in New Zealand. Nice one, Electronica. Make the most of this weekend, because unfortunately for you, this is going to be the last time till November that you're getting one at this time of the day. He's doing back for practice. I have no idea, Steve. I've just woken up in the last 15 minutes, so we will find out whether Jack Doohan whether they've got that car ready or not. I presume they do, unless they don't have the parts available to them, Alpine. But I think they do. They should have had plenty of time to get that car repaired. But yeah, unless they haven't brought enough parts of them, which we saw Williams do in the past, maybe. But morning, Spice, good to see you. Waking up to watch Liverpool and F1, you're zombified. Committed, that is. You're a committed fan. On both counts. Morning, Ty. Morning from the Philippines. Lovely. Sturry? Who's Sturry, Steve? Who's Sturry? I don't know how Sturry's doing. And Jackie talking. Yes, what is amazing? So Ted Kravitz was watching his notebook afterwards, and he said What did he say? He said he didn't even have a concussion, Jack Doohan. Didn't even have a concussion, which is crazy. He just crashed into a barrier at 185 miles an hour and didn't even have a concussion. I mean, that's a testament to... I mean, he obviously looked very shaken up when he got out of that car yesterday. Don't know if you guys saw the footage. So, okay, it's very interesting. They're on the Skypad at the moment, and Jack Doohan did implement the DRS, which he eventually crashed with. He did implement it the same way by lifting off down into turn 1 rather than manually closing it. Whereas Gasly's manually closing it. Morning, Raven. Good to see you. Morning, evening, afternoon. Yes. Morning, afternoon, evening. Morning, Ram from Singapore. Good to see you. Always great to see where you guys are tuning in from across the world. Stephen, there we go. I'm doing very well. Thank you, mate. Who do I think will be P1 for quali? Ooh. I am still back in Lando. Still back in Lando. Oh, he's literally... Steve Kravitz? Ted Kravitz is literally interviewing Jack Doohan now. And Jack seems very happy. He's ready to go. Looks like he's going to be out there today. So yeah, Jack Doohan is okay and he'll be back out there today. Very lucky boy. Very lucky boy. Hey Eddie, it's good to see you, mates. Morning, Avin. That crash was gnarly. It was very, very big. So... But yeah, I think Lando's going to be on pole position unless something dramatic happens. He just seems to have the edge in both practice sessions yesterday over Piastri. He has good form here, Lando. He's always had the better. I know there's only 2 years of data points for Piastri and Lando, and Piastri has improved. He's not the same driver he was last year, but he has comprehensively had the better of his teammate in the previous 2 seasons here. So, yeah, and Lando has continued that form. He would have had a time yesterday, but would in FP2 that would have put him top of the timing screens and be the only driver in the 27s ahead of his teammate if he didn't get held up in the last chicane by Max Verstappen, who was starting his lap. So nothing untoward by Max. It was just kind of a bit of poor timing for Lando to reach Max at that time. So without that, he would have gained... He lost 3 temps there. He probably would have gained those 3 temps comfortably. So... Morning, Anne. Good to see you. Colabinto is going to be getting non-stop close-ups in the garage today. Well, the good thing is for Jack, as much as F1 moves very quickly, and if he has a good qualifying and he has a good race, people will completely forget about what happened yesterday. It'll be a thing of the past. Same with, as we mentioned with Liam Lawson as well. Liam Lawson... If he has a very good season and he ends up like doing very well this year, completely beating Hadjar or, you know, regardless, has a good season, 22 races remaining, that's it. People will forget that he was even in a Red Bull at the start of the year and his F1 career is recovered, you know. How's Tsunoda doing so far? Yeah, tricky one to say about FP2 yesterday. Like, hardly anyone got any running because of the interrupted session. There was 4 red flags, 2 for fires. Yes, 2 for fires that were trackside. So hopefully they've sorted that out. I mean, maybe they've given it a bit of a spray, or given the grass a spray of water overnight, unless there was rain that would help with that. But yes, he didn't get a chance to do a performance run yesterday in FP2. So that's why he was down in 18th, while a lot of other drivers were able to fit at least 1 in. He did a few laps on some mediums, and then FP1, obviously the story was that he was only a 10.5 behind Max. However, not to take anything away from Tsunoda, Max is clearly struggling with that car. Very much so. We know Max doesn't like understeer. He hates understeer. In the past, when Perez has got close to Max and actually outperformed him on the very rare occasion he was his teammate, it has been because the car has been understeery, and that's been more towards Perez's liking. Now, that's not to say Yuki prefers a car like that, but that means it's probably a car. If a car's more understeery, it means it's obviously a lot, not as much on the front end as what Max likes to drive the car. And he was reporting as such yesterday. It's got really no front end. So expect Red Bull to maybe have sorted their act out together regards to setup for today to make that car more to Max's liking, on his side of the garage at least. Whether they'll do that for Yuki, not so sure. But we'll see the gap today. But Max is, quite clearly struggling. But to take nothing away from Tsunoda, it's been a positive start. But we'll see. We will see how that Red Bull fares later on in qualifying, because it doesn't look. It looks even more of a handful here than it did at China and at Australia, which is not good. Not good for you Red Bull fans. Morning, Rod. 32 degrees. Oh my goodness. At 9:25 in the morning in Thailand. Unbelievable. Well, hope you're good, mate, and hope you're coping well with that heat. I mean, you've been out there for many a year, so I'm sure you're absolutely fine. But good to see you, Lily. Yuki was really disturbed how different car is to sim. Yes, so that's a very worrying issue for Red Bull, is that the correlation for what they are seeing in the sim to track is not the same. And that's a problem for any team, because they're spending all this time, all this prep time in the sim, getting setups prepared, and they get into the track, it's completely different. That's a big no-no for any F1 team, so something they need to sort out. You think the push lap will be good, but the race pace will fall off the RB eats tyres? Yeah, I mean, I've said that straight away with how that car's been handling since testing, Mad. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to... It can work over a single lap because Max can get the tyres. When a car's a bit twitchy like that, you can wrestle it around for a single lap. You can build the tyre temperature up pretty quickly. But to do it over a whole race, you just can't do it. Which is why it was very impressive that Max was able to do much better on the hard compound tyre and have that second half of his stint on the hard compound in China. He looked after it, particularly in the first instance, and then he was strong come the end of the race. But the hard compound was a bit of an unknown. Well, it was a complete unknown heading into that race because no one had used it all weekend. On that track surface as well, it lasted a lot longer than people expected, hence the eventual one stop. But the medium, he was terrible on. You could see it in the sprint race. He fell away from Lewis. In the race itself, on the full fuel, I mean, Max was nowhere. He really struggled on that medium. So, yeah, a worry for Red Bull. For sure, but this track is very difficult on the tyres. It's always a two-stop here. The rain may be their saving grace come tomorrow, but the way it's handling at the moment, that Red Bull, even the rain may not be able to be enough to save them. Thank you, Ripper. I understand there's other... What F1 Gamer does is very, very good, but what we do here is very unique, and I appreciate everyone for tuning in to my watch-along. So yeah, if you are enjoying it, guys, as always, hit that like and subscribe button. We are 30 seconds away from FP3 getting it underway and seeing what these teams have in store for us. We will most definitely get an indication of what the true pace is today. We will get some quali runs because of the interrupted session that was FP2. Normally, we do get a better indication of pace yesterday in that session because it is held at the same time of day that we see qualifying. But that's not going to be the case. Well, that wasn't the case yesterday. The only team that really kind of got any proper push laps in was, sufficient ones, was McLaren, who we expected to be quick here this weekend. But you can see there, Jack Doohan's icon, green light, pit exit open. Jack Doohan, after that 185 miles an hour crash into turn one yesterday, is back out there. I wonder if he'll be playing the same shenanigans today with that DRS. I highly doubt it. I imagine he's been read the riot act yesterday, but the fact of that he is back out there so swiftly after that crash yesterday is a testament to the safety of F1 cars these days. Not even a concussion after that. Absolutely fine. So fair play to the safety measures that we have in modern F1. Years gone by, that would have been instant death, that sort of crash. What's the time? The sleep schedule has been something monumental to record these. The time here is 3:30. So yeah, I did go to bed... this has kind of helped me. I've been feeling a little bit rough. I've had a bit of a tummy bug, so I've been feeling a bit rough, and I'm a bit of a night owl. I don't like going to bed early, but because I've been feeling a bit rough, I've been going to bed a bit early the last couple of nights, and thankfully I've been getting plenty of sleep in to get up at 3 a.m. So it's been not too bad. And tomorrow, at least, the race is at 6 a.m, so we'll be live about an hour before, so I'll be up. I get a bit more sleep tomorrow as well. But yes, this is the last one until November, where we head to Las Vegas in November, where I won't have to get up at silly o'clock in the morning. So, yeah. FP3 red flag predictions, who knows? Who knows? I mean, yeah, I mean, you'd like to think that none of the drivers do. I mean, what's the wind at the moment? So that really caught a lot of drivers out yesterday as well, was the wind. We saw the wind speed from anywhere up to, 10 kilometers an hour that we're seeing now, all the way to over 20 kilometers an hour. So, keep an eye on that wind direction. That can play a big factor, especially when it comes to qualifying. We've seen how sensitive these cars are to the winds as these cars have become more and more developed, as generally is the case in a regulation set. That can play a big factor, especially heading into turn 16 and 17. I think it caught a few of them out yesterday, and we saw a few lockups and a few drivers have big wobbles through there. Praying for Hadjar's first points this race. Yeah, I think he can do it, you know. The RB looks a very solid car. We saw them yesterday in FP2, able to get at least a quick lap in, and their quick lap was quicker than that of the Red Bull car. So, yeah, it definitely looks a lot more stable than the Red Bull. So we'll see. This is an interesting one to keep an eye on today. Has Max Verstappen been able to sort out those issues he was complaining about yesterday? We'll see. Mechanics carrying Doohan's weekend. Morning, Japan. Morning. 11:30 a.m. here. FP3 starting soon. FP3 started, my friend. But good to see you. Good to see you. This is a good time for Indian fans. 8 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, that's a lovely time. That is a lovely time. Qualifying will be ending at 8 a.m. for me here in the UK when we're finishing with it. But Max Verstappen is going to be the first driver out there to set a lap. So quite a few drivers out on different tyres on the hard compound. I'm going to have a check of the weather to see if it's changed at all. Prediction-wise for tomorrow. Because potentially these hard compound runs might not even be that relevant, you know, if it's going to be a wet race, wet to dry race. F1, Japan, Suzuka, weather. Making sure it's Japan Suzuka I'm checking today, guys, and not the not the actual Poland's Suzuka. Suzuka circuit. They actually said frost is advisory. That's how cold it is at the moment. Expect showery weather late on Saturday night until Sunday afternoon. Sunday is predicted as probability of precipitation 98%. Definitely a high possibility of rain tomorrow, guys. Oh my. Yeah, so it looks like it's definitely going to be a wet race. 56% chance in the afternoon, so yeah. Yeah, that's intriguing. Morning, Patricia. Good to see you. California. Sunny California. Lovely. It's a dark UK here at the moment. I don't even know what the weather is outside. All the blinds are closed. I haven't even peeped outside to see what it looks like. Oh, hang on. Isaac Hadjar. What happened to Isaac? Oh, Hadjar's pitting. I had a problem in the cockpit. I'll let you know after, but it's quite bad. Oh, what's happened with Isaac Hadjar? Something's happened in his cockpit. Something's maybe moving around in the cockpit, is what they're reporting. We will see. Is it the water? Jack Villeneuve just said maybe it's the fire extinguisher. So they have a little fire extinguisher in the car or something. Seatbelt related, something, I don't know. Something's moving around. But Loving the new angles as well. I'm loving this wider angle on the roll hoop of the car, or on the T-junction of the car. Just on board with Nico Hulkenberg. Do you really see the change in elevation and the gradient there of the... I mean, how much pace they're taking through Spoon Corner now. That McLaren was so quick yesterday. So really interesting, guys, is that if you're not part of our Discord, feel free to join the Discord. A few oh, red flag again. Oh my goodness, not even 7 minutes in. This has got to be another fire. This has got to be another fire. No one's crashed. No one's crashed. This has got to be a fire on the circuit again. It's got to be. We need rain the way it's going. I don't think we can have a dry race here at Suzuka. Kimi Antonelli flirting with the gravel on the exit of Degna 2, which is turn 9, by the way. Will they qualify on hard, medium, softs? Softs, always softs. The only time they don't qualify on softs, Pharaoh, is in the sprint quali, where they're mandatory, but they have to qualify in Q1 and Q2 on the mediums. But yeah, no one ever does. You just always qualify on the softs. So, did Alonso sustain damage to his floor from running across the gravel yesterday? I'd be very surprised if he didn't. Crit, yeah, it was a very big spin there. He probably would have sustained, lots of chips and damage to that floor. I mean, they always kind of do to an extent throughout the duration of a weekend, but yeah, we'll see. I think it'd be okay though. Yeah, it's fire again. Oh my goodness. Turn 11. It's on the inside of turn 11 this time. This is a completely new area where they didn't see a fire yesterday. So the hairpin, so from just on the inside of turn 10 basically, and turn 11, there's a fire there. Goodness. Where's Fireman Sam? Why so much fire on this track? So the reason why is because, I don't know, the grass is very dry. Very dry. It looks like they haven't had a lot of rain there. So the cars are running very low in this ground effect era. Of course, the lower they run them, the more performance they have. And with that, they're throwing up lots of sparks. But what happens is that, like we saw in China last year, the sparks are throwing up, landing on the grass, the very dried grass, and just setting alight. Simple, really. But we are expected rain here. Normally, Suzuka isn't like this. Normally, Suzuka's very lush, but it's been very dry by the looks of it. But it's been cold at Suzuka. That's the thing. So it's not been hot. So Japan GP is lit. Ba-dum-dum-tsh. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's so frequent. We've only ever seen it at China, but it is something that no doubt they'll have to take into consideration at circuits moving forward, because this is very much interrupted this practice, yesterday's practice, and it's probably going to interrupt this practice as well. But this is a completely. They did say they have removed. I think. Well, apparently they said they have removed areas where they were affected yesterday, but this is a new area that we didn't see any issues with. So maybe they're painting the grass like the Chinese. I don't think so. No, it is very, because at China it was green, wasn't it? That was the thing. Like the grass was green. So normally if something's very lush, that's why I like trees, trees that have a lot of moisture in them, they don't really set alight. That's why when you see wildfires, certain trees don't burn down, because they've got so much moisture in them. But this grass is, if you see images on Twitter, online, anywhere, you'll see that the grass is very brown. So quality could get awkward real quick if more fires. Yeah. Reminds me of that year they moved Canada earlier and it was a 4 degrees at race start. Oh my goodness. The last time I remember a race being, I don't remember a race being that cold. I think Vegas last year was the coldest race I've seen in some time. It was like 10 degrees, wasn't it? 12 degrees. It won't be an issue during the race, Spice, because it's going to pour down this evening and tomorrow. So it's going to be a wet race tomorrow. So the whole circuit will be wet. There won't be any issue with that. Throwing out red flags like NASCAR, I know. What's the record for the most red flags in F1 weekend? Oh, that's an interesting one. Surely there's a viewer here who's got Google to hand. I've got Google to hand, but I'm just utilising you guys. Surely someone can Google that and find out what most red flags there were in a F1 weekend. It's going to be something silly, like double figures, isn't it? Surely. I don't know if it will be called off for tomorrow. The thing is with quali is that they don't have any other sessions here. That time quali, when it's a red flag, can be paused. So unlike practice where the timer runs down, in quali they are able to pause the timer. So they will, and I don't think they're in any rush for them to get off the track this afternoon. So they'll be able to do quali. It will take as long as it takes to do quali. I would have thought reticulation in the grassed areas to keep them green would be an idea. Yeah. So I'm actually in Suzuka, but I'm listening into my stream because the commentary is all in Japanese. That makes sense, Ken, but thank you for tuning in, buddy. Trackside. Lovely. Are you at track? Are you at the track or are you somewhere else? Are you just in Suzuka? You said trackside, so yeah, I presume... Well, you said the commentary is in Japanese, so I presume it's because you're trackside. I was inside F1 in paddock yesterday. Oh, nice one. Haas Boss was there as speaker, and he said there's an 80% chance of rain on Sunday. Yes. Yeah, we just looked, Ching, and it was, 98% chance of precipitation tomorrow. So, yeah, definitely going to be a wet one. It's hopefully not too wet, because we know that the FIA are very, understandably, because of visibility issues, they're very risk-averse to wet weather races, and especially starts at Suzuka. But yeah, hopefully it's not too wet that we're able to at least have a decent race tomorrow. The record is Japanese. Is it really? Surely not. What, 4 red flags thus far? That's the record. Track clear. There we go. They've got the fire extinguishers out and they're ready to go. So 11:44. That is when the session will begin. So you're literally talking less than 2 minutes, guys. Just over a minute until the session gets back underway. They don't sell raincoats here, though. They not. Have you not got the overalls that everyone has? No one crashed. Just fire again, Caden. Just fire in F1 again. You know, just a typical grass fire. Regular occurrence in F1 now these days. I remember the race where everyone ran out of petrol. France 85. Unfortunately, Janice, I'm gonna make you feel old now. I wasn't born for that race in 85, so I don't remember that, unfortunately. I'm sorry to do that to you, but... wasn't Brazil last year pretty red flag heavy? No, it only had 1 red flag. No, we had red flags in... Did we have red flags in quali? We had a couple in... Yeah, I mean, actually, we had a couple in quali. I don't think we had any in practice, because practice was dry. So, I'm sorry as he cackles. I know. Sorry, not sorry. I still feel old, though, compared to a few of you. 3 red flags, 2023 Australia in the race. Yeah, there was 3 in quali. I mean, over the whole weekend, how many red flags have we got? But it's a very busy pit lane, as I was looking on the TV coverage there. As we are back underway. For how long? Who knows? Which other area will they set alight now? But, yeah, I think teams need to just kind of get out there and just do their performance laps, to be honest with you. I think any hope of trying to do long runs is gone with the wind, because you're just going to get very interrupted. You're just going to get an interrupted session here again. We are going to get another red flag at some point. There is going to be another area on this race circuit where there is going to be a fire. Piastri noted failing to follow race director's instructions. What was that for? I'm just watching it. He did a start procedure from the pit lane area. So he was behind the pit lane line, so it wasn't in front of the pit lane line. So hopefully, I don't think we saw any penalties for that yesterday after a few investigations. But yeah, we've got the Ferraris out there on softs, which is good. Lewis isn't out yet, but I presume he'll be on softs as Leclerc is. We've got Piastri, who's out on softs, as is Norris as well. Max is coming back out, but he seems to be on the hards, I think. But Lando Norris making his way down to turn 1. Right, he might get a bit of traffic though, so we'll see if he's good boy. Tsunoda getting out of the way for Lando Norris. So let's keep an eye on Lando. So bearing in mind, guys, pole position last year was a 28.1. On average, thus far this season, we have seen the cars be 1 second quicker. We've seen that on average improvement-wise year on year out in this regulation set where cars have improved around a second per season. So expect the same here again. I expect qualifying to be pushing the low 27s if the wind and the weather allows it. Wind currently at mid-teens, isn't it, at the moment? 14 flirting there. 31.5 for Lando. I don't think that's particularly quick. I think we saw those pushing in the 30s yesterday as the quickest time. But we'll see. We'll see Lando, the first driver to set a time, quick time out here, if there's not a red flag shown quickly. Suzuka is a fire track, quite literally, yes. Verstappen also noted for failing to follow race directions. So, yeah, that's also the case there. But you can see Leclerc faster than Lando in the first sector. So, getting their tyres warmed up. But it's a very busy circuit at the moment. Only Doohan and Russell not out of the pit lane yet. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why. I mean, you saw it in real time yesterday, Unknown, where that fire literally spread. Like it doubled in size, the one that brought out the very late red flag yesterday with like 30 seconds remaining of the session. So, yeah, Norris with a first lap time there of a 29.4. So, we did actually see a 28... Did we see a 20? Yeah, we saw a 28.1 yesterday, didn't we, from both the McLarens, I think. So, yeah, quite some way off of the speed that they can definitely go at the moment. As Leclerc goes up there with a 29.1. Piastri's going quicker than those in the first sector of 31.2 for him. He's got a bit of clean air in front of him. Lawson better than Yuki. Look, I don't like the way Lawson's been treated as Lawson goes up into P3 on the mediums. But the intriguing thing will be the RB's pace over the Red Bull's pace. That'll be the most intriguing thing. So, Oscar was sub 30 sector 1 yesterday. That's okay, yes. So sub 30 is definitely, yeah, we were some way off, aren't we, at the moment, as Lewis Hamilton goes quickest in the first sector. But we can see that track evolution here is a thing. It's going to be important in qualifying. We saw track evolution be key in every circuit thus far, actually, at the moment. I know we've only been to 2, but China, we most definitely saw it. We saw Max go out very late in the sprint qualling, nearly snatch pole from Lewis. We saw George Russell go out last in quali and nearly snatch pole from Oscar Piastri. So Suzuka's going to be the same, I think, here again today, as we're seeing drivers go round and, well, set for more and more lap time, quicker sectors at the moment. As Lewis, a bit slow in the middle sector, not fast. He's 2 tenths down on Norris and Leclerc, but I'm sure it'll get quicker. Tsunoda up into P4. On the hard compound tyres there, doing some long runs. Surprised he's not out there on the softs at the moment because we don't know when there'll be rain. As watching Piastri there, he ran very, very wide into the gravel. Controlled the car very well there. Bit of a snap oversteer on the exit of the corner. Threw up a lot of gravel onto the circuit. So, yeah, that could have been very dangerous there for Oscar Piastri. They should have just done a controlled burn-off after the practice yesterday. Farmers do this regularly. Yeah, I mean, look, how familiar are the stewards and the Japanese crew there familiar with fires at their circuit? Probably not, you know? So probably not very often. I'm sure pretty much there's no other car series that throws up sparks like Formula 1 does here. So it's probably an issue they've never had before. But it's very surprisingly... I'm very surprised how... I mean, you'd suspect Suzuka and Japan would have had more rain. I know we moved this track to earlier on in the calendar year to avoid the weather conditions that we received at Suzuka in the later stages where it used to be. But I'm very surprised the circuit is so dry and the grass is so brown. But who would have thought that I'd be sitting here today talking about grass when talking about F1, eh? Okay, so improvements starting to be made there. You can start to see the track get quicker. Lando Norris, first driver, sub 31 in the first sector. So yeah, track's going to get quicker and quicker. We're not going to see times that are anywhere close probably to what we're going to see in qualifying, that's for sure, because of fuel loads and so forth, but also just because of the track state. The track is going to get quicker and quicker throughout qualifying. And just today. You're still flirting with the delusion that Yuki gets a podium and we can all point and laugh at the RB circus tent. Yeah, I've mentioned it before. Like, I'm so conflicted because I want Yuki to do well. I really do. But I also don't think Red Bull deserve Yuki doing well. I feel like they've overlooked him previously. They've only taken him on because their choice in Lawson has started off poorly, but also because Honda have offered them a considerable amount of money. And they've made a poor car. And I feel like they don't deserve it, you know? So I'll be happy if Yuki does well, but I'll be sad because I feel like Horner and Marco don't deserve it. And I'll be sad if Yuki doesn't do well, but I'll be happy because Horner and Marco are, sitting there scratching their heads. So yeah, I'm very conflicted. So we'll see though. We'll see. Isn't Yuki Chinese? No, Japanese. At his home circuit here today, or this weekend. So, Norris, backed out a bit there in the middle sector. Did he have a big wobble, or did he just catch traffic there? I wasn't paying too much attention. As Piastri improves, the 28.7. So, yeah, starting to see the track state get quicker. George Russell, I'm intrigued to see how the Mercedes get on today. I keep saying it. George just keeps going quietly about his business. And I haven't really paid too much attention to the bottom at the moment. Ollie Behrman and Bortoletto, they're on hard compound runs. Haven't really seen the overall pace of the Haas, who has a new floor here this weekend. So they might be sneaky quick when it comes to single lap pace in qualifying. We'll see. Gasly jumps up into P8 there on the mediums. But Norris is on a lap again, heading through Spoon Corner. So just for, yes, as I was mentioning about our Discord, there's a few tech geeks, shall we say, in our Discord, and they look at the data, and interestingly they've noticed that pretty much kind of like Spoon Corner in particular, turn 13 and 14, the McLaren yesterday was 12 kilometers an hour quicker than anyone else through that corner, and that is such an important corner, Spoon, because it sets you up all the way through to, well, turn 16, because you're full throttle from the exit of turn 14 all the way to the braking zone of turn 16, and they're so quick through there. I noticed it on the onboard as well. That's pretty much where they've been making up all their time, and they could be even quicker than the rest of the field if not for some driver errors, as seeing the McLaren struggle actually through Degner 2, which is turn 9. So we know that McLaren is a bit trickier to drive, as reported by Lando and Piastri. It's a quick car, but it's a tricky car to drive, as most quick cars are. And yeah, they're struggling, particularly through that second sector, turn 9 at the moment. Could that be their issue come the qualifying later on? We'll see. But Norris up there doesn't set a time just behind his teammate Oscar Piastri there. Less than a tenth separating. Half a tenth exactly separating the two. Charles Leclerc looks quite good for the first sector and splits them. So good going at the moment for the Ferraris. That's unreal how clear they are. I know. How's your Yuki Pookie doing, Ted? He's doing all right. He's on the hard compound tyre. Interestingly enough, I mean, look, we don't know fuel loads. We don't know engine modes. But he's ahead of Max at the moment. He's got 4 temps on Max. Fastest lap. But yeah, Max has been reporting that he's been struggling with the car. Maybe there's different fuel loads here, but they're doing a long run at the moment. We're yet to see Max and Yuki do any performance runs. We've still got 35 minutes left in this FP3. It's already been interrupted due to another trackside fire at turn 11. Hopefully we don't see any more. But yeah, Yuki doing well. But the car doesn't see... I'm not taking anything away from Yuki, but he doesn't really see... Max doesn't like the car... Well, was clearly reporting yesterday, but he didn't like the car in the window that it was. So we are seeing so many cars go wide on turning. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it could be the winds. The wind could be just Oh, the wind could be... Oh, my God. Carlos Sainz had a snap of oversteer through the top of the S's through turn 6. Where is Carlos Sainz at the moment? Down in... Yuki goes up there in P5 on a brand new set of hard tyres. That's good going for him. Sainz is 15th at the moment and Albon's 18th. So, okay. Not really too much to take into consideration there for the Williams. They were like midfield yesterday, 10th and 11th, I think it was, on their performance runs. As Sainz is reporting, I thought what the McLaren is doing is not allowed, which is the practice starts, yeah. Baby burn. You appreciate my life. Thank you, Niso. Nisho. Pace is not a problem with Ferrari strategies where they struggle and mess up. Or set up and get into disqualification, eh? Hey, Dan. Just tuned in. How's it doing? I'm doing very well, thank you. Yes. Looking forward to what is another day of F1 here. First of a triple header. By the way, guys, we've got Suzuka here this weekend. Then we head to Bahrain and Saudi. Of course, they were moved further back in the calendar to allow for Ramadan to take place. I think will probably be the case next year as well, maybe. But yes, we head to the 2 Middle Eastern circuits next time around, a triple header. So we have 3 weekends. You got how lucky you are, guys. You have 3 weekends in a row full of Stuffeyy. So yes, thank you for tuning in as always. Hit the like and subscribe button. I know I sound like a broken record, but if I don't ask, I don't get, you know. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Over 1,600 of you here at the moment. If you can continue to smash that like button, it'd be great. As a Sauber fan, watching Hulk go to Sauber feels like a cry for help. I almost feel like I need to call emergency services, as it counts as self-harm. Well, look, he's gone to... Hulkenberg is kind of in the latter stage. It was definitely in the latter stages of his career. Staying at Haas, maybe there wasn't... I mean, you have to think, I imagine they have offered him a considerable amount of more money because it is turning into Audi. He is a German driver, heading to a German team. Hang on, Yuki Tsunoda radio. How was the flat? Better, yeah, it's still understeer, especially Sector 1, but overall very happy, Tsunoda is reporting. Oh, bless me. But yes, going back to it, Hulkenberg, yeah, he's probably been offered a shed load more cash. He's also got very strong ties to Audi after racing in their hypercar series, hypercar as well in the past. Sorry, the LMP1. So yeah, it makes sense for him at his time of the career. Thank you, Spice. Thank you. Antonelli struggling this weekend. He does seem to be, yes. Yeah, gone under the radar a bit, Antonelli's performance thus far. But it does seem like he's struggling at Suzuka. We'll see in qualifying, of course. It is still only practice, but even the couple of performance laps he's done yesterday weren't quick. So he may struggle to get through to Q3 later on, unless he pulls something out of the bag. I'm not sure if Antonelli's even come to Suzuka before. Has he even raced at Suzuka? Maybe someone can confirm that for me. I'm not sure he would have... So I don't think he hasn't done any Super Formulas. F2 and F3 don't come here. So I don't actually think he would have ever come to Suzuka before. So... And if you've never been to Suzuka before, I imagine it's quite difficult to maybe find the limit of the car at this circuit. On iRacing, yes. He most definitely has an iRacing, but not so much in real life, I presume. Why does Max look like he's not even trying? Because he's just doing long runs at the moment. He's clearly on a run plan. He's probably got a shed load of fuel on the car, and he's probably maybe trying to dial in some setup changes to see how the car performs on high fuel. Yuki's maybe doing something different. Maybe, I don't know what they're testing with Yuki at the moment. But Yuki clearly seems to have a nice control on the car at the moment, on the hard compound tyre. He's the quickest out there of everyone else who hasn't done a run on softs. As crazy as it sounds, 2025 World Drivers' Champion George, he's been quiet and insanely consistent. I tell you what, he's definitely someone to keep an eye out on. I've said this. George is quietly going about his business. And I think we do suspect that the McLarens will, at some point this season, trip over each other. It's very early on. They're kind of playing nicey-nicey at the moment. McLaren are doing their best to avoid them getting anywhere close to each other on circuit. It's only been 2 race weekends, but they're going to clash at some point if they continue to stay as the quickest car out there. There's no way that they won't. They won't be able to keep them apart for 24 weekends. But yeah, George quietly going about his business seems to... I mean, we know what he's done in the past. He's picked up wins in the past by just being quiet, not been on pace, but just keeping it out of trouble, running his own race, and he's picked up very decent results for it, and it could be a season where it's like that. Thank you, Bevo. Good to see you, mate. Ferrari looking better so far today. They do seem to be better, but my question always is that McLaren always have an extra few temps in their back pocket. There's no way that we are seeing today qualifying being as quick as last year. It's going to be so much quicker. Or as slow as last year, should I say. Chances of rain tomorrow, very high. Very, very high. Almost 100% chance that there's rain tomorrow, Graham. So let's have a look at the moment. Jack Doohan, who's done runs on the soft. Thankfully, he is back out there today. A testament to the safety of F1. Hulkenberg not happy with one of the Red Bulls out of the garage at turn 1. I presume that was probably Yuki Tsunoda on a set of new softs. But we have 28 minutes remaining of this session. We'll see if drivers decide to come into the pit soon and put on a brand new fresh set of softs to see some performance laps. That's normally around the time 20 minutes remaining is normally when we see those performance runs begin. But Antonelli at the moment, yeah, bottom of the standings. He needs some improvement, as does Carlos Sainz. This is the thing. How relevant are these long runs going to be with the wet conditions tomorrow? Is it going to be wet to dry conditions? Is it just going to be fully wet? We don't know. Obviously, you can't test the wet tyres out there or the intermediates. So, yeah, we will see how kind of relevant this is. Maybe we will see the hard compound tyre used tomorrow. My concern would be how it's going to be a very, very cool track temperature tomorrow with the rain. It's 38.7 degrees now. I mean, with the rain tomorrow, that's going to drop drastically and it's going to be dropping down into the 20s. So how the tyres performing now on this track surface isn't really going to be relevant to how they're going to perform tomorrow on a drying track. Verstappen hasn't done a fast lap yet. No, he hasn't. No. Morning, TC. Good to see you. Tsunoda is looking good on the onboard. Yeah, the car doesn't look twitchy, does it? It looks very stable, actually. I bet Liam Lawson would have loved a car like that. But yes, I think he's... Tsunoda definitely looks comfortable in that car. Not a lot of corrections in the steering wheel. Which makes you think that the car is maybe not to Max's liking. He likes a car that's obviously a bit more twitchy on that front end. Oh no, Lance Stroll. I felt like something's vibrating, like a wheel is not on or something. Oh dear. Not something you want to say on the radio, Lance Stroll. You should just come back into the pit lane and just, yeah. If Ferrari sell this weekend, you'll cry. Norris fan, love your support for mental health. You can't test wets without actual rain. No, you can't. What is happening in Red Bull? They're just doing long runs at the moment. But they do seem to be... There does seem to be concern about their performance, for sure. I'm not sure if we're going to see... I never rule Max out, but I'm not sure we're going to see some Max magic in qualifying. Yeah, we'll see. Unless they've really unlocked something. But Max is in the pits now. We're starting to see drivers coming back into the pit lane. So performance runs may be about to begin. Yuki reported the car is still understeering. So yeah, I mean, that's understeer is something Max hates. Absolutely hates. So if the car is understeering... you can go back in the past few years to the very few races Max has kind of struggled. And I say struggled, like he's not been the quickest, he's not been quicker than his teammate. And you will see comments that he would have complained about the car being understeery. That's what Max hates. So if the car is understeery, that's when Max is unable to really kind of dig out a performance. Of course, we always know it's well documented that he likes a car on the front end to be very sensitive that way. Complained about it yesterday. So, yeah, maybe that's what we're going to see here this weekend. Can't tolerate any Stroll slander when he's above both Ferrari drivers in points. That's fairs. That's fairs. But yeah, starting to see some quicker lap times now, even on 8-lap old soft tyres. Lewis Hamilton's gone quickest in the first sector. So it shows how much more pace and potential there is in this track and in these cars, as George Russell set a 28.3 last time around. We're only 2 tenths off of that pole position of last year and of the FP2 quickest time. But Lewis Hamilton, let's see what his second sector is. Maybe loses a bit of time in the middle sector due to the lack of grip, maybe, with these used softs. So, no, it's still an improvement for him. But 2 tenths down on Oscar Piastri, as Charles Leclerc takes the fastest first sector away from his teammate there. It's Lewis Hamilton getting through the turn 17 chicane. And what does he set here? Is it fastest? It isn't. It's just a little bit slower than George Russell on the same age of tyres. But Leclerc is on a brand new set of softs. So let's keep an eye out on him. He might be affected by Lee Behrman ahead of him, though. So as he heads into turn 13 and 14, Spoon corner. Very, very important corner on this circuit. Full throttle now it is all the way to turn 16. Will Ollie Behrman get out of his way? Will he get a cheeky toe here? Or is Behrman just going to stay in the way of Charles Leclerc? It seems like he potentially is. So yeah, I think Charles Leclerc's had his lap time compromised there by Ollie Behrman, so don't maybe take too much consideration of what this last sector time is for Leclerc. I could be wrong. It could be an improvement for him. And yes, most definitely got held up in the last sector there. So yeah, not ideal. The Ferraris are working their tyres too hard. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the fact. This is going to be key, isn't it? I mean, even in wet conditions tomorrow, how long will those wet tyres last? I'm not sure, especially if it's a drying track. That's where we saw the McLarens really have the pace advantage over those in Melbourne, was the fact that they could look after their tyres so much better. They didn't allow them to overheat, unlike the rest of the field. Ferraris do not perform well in the rain. I mean, Melbourne... Yeah, I mean, their pace was okay in Melbourne. It just wasn't on the pace of the McLarens. I mean, really, the Ferraris don't... I don't think anyone really has an opportunity of beating the McLarens at the moment. The only way the McLarens won't win this race is if they trip over themselves. You're relatively new to F1, Sir Moore. How long do these practices last? 1 hour. 1 hour session, the practices last. I need to top up on my coffee, Janice. Yeah, I've run out of coffee and I feel like I could do with more. Here you right, Ferrari win the race and the World Constructors' Championship. Well, as I said, I think they need some help. I think they need the two McLarens to maybe have some issues, driver errors, collide, something of the like. But if McLaren do what they're able to do, I think it's a comfortable win for them. Who will win? I don't know. I still back in Norris. I think he's just got the edge over Piastri at this circuit. He has done the last few seasons. Looks strong here thus far. But yeah, overall, the McLarens have just still got a good few temps on the rest of the field. So if it rains tomorrow, that's right up Max's alley. Well, you say that, Pharaoh. Yeah, I mean, we would presume so. But the car is not to Max's liking at the moment. Lots of understeer. We know Max doesn't like that, so we'll see. I still expect Max to dig deep into qualifying and dig out a result. But yeah, he's not as I say buoyant. Not that he's really been buoyant the last two race weekends. He's not been as positive where he's like, yeah, I can dig out a result. So 21 minutes to go. Yes, lots of drivers in the pits now, so no doubt soft tyres are going to be whacked on any time. As I said, it's normally around 20 minutes remaining, which we are just about to hit the mark of at the top left-hand corner of your screen there. That's the time remaining of this session where we see drivers go out there and conduct some performance runs. Thankfully, and I know I'm maybe about to do commentator's curse here, thankfully we haven't had a second red flag for trackside fires. So hopefully we do actually get to see some performance runs here. Lewis is a go at this track. He will at least podium. I mean, I don't think a podium is off the cards for Ferrari at all. But the win, yeah. I mean, George Russell looks good here, though. George Russell quietly going about his business. Don't rule George out, that's for sure. You expecting a lock-up from Norris in Q2 or Q3? That'll cost him potential pole. Ooh. Maybe. I mean, he is susceptible to one, isn't he? Is Yuki's front wing going to foul again? No, hopefully not. Too bad the grass is not full of water. It will be tomorrow. It will be tomorrow. Over under 1.5 grass fires during the race. No, there won't be any fires during the race. It's going to be a wet race tomorrow, almost guaranteed. Every weather report is saying that it's going to be a high percentage of rain. So, thank you all for being said. Yes, well done, guys. Well done. Maybe that's the new mod, the new night bots, the new moderation, helping you guys out. Tomorrow we'll see, or later on. We'll see if the chat is as well behaved. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Now, over 1,800 of you here right now. If you could hit that like and subscribe button, can we get this channel to 38k subs by the end of this FP3? That'd be amazing if you can. But thank you for everyone who subbed in the meantime. Thank you as always. I really want to see Yuki and Sainz have a good race. Yeah, big weekend for Sainz. Big weekend for him. He's not looked comfortable in that Williams. I mean, really, at the moment, wouldn't take too much into where he's positioned in FP3 because he's been doing runs on the hard compound tyre. But, yeah, really needs to get his season up and running, doesn't he? It's not what they've hired Carlos Sainz for. So, Lando Norris out on a fresh set of softs now. You can see Yuki Tsunoda also on a fresh set of softs. So, we're starting to see some performance runs here. Let's see how Yuki is in that Red Bull in relative terms to the rest of the field and, of course, to Max Verstappen, who is also out on a fresh set of softs as well. Here we go, guys. This is where we're going to see what we might expect to see finishing position-wise in qualifying later on. It's not always exactly what we'll see, but we'll at least know kind of relative positions of where the drivers are and the cars are at the circuit, heading into qualifying in a few hours' time. Right, so we stay on board with Yuki then, as he comes across the start-finish line to begin his flying lap, and you'll be able to see Yuki there in P6. DRS open. Let's keep an eye out on his Sector 1 time. He's looking for a time that's better than a 30.6 to beat Charles Leclerc at the moment, who has the fastest first sector, as he heads through the center S's. And for Yuki Tsunoda, he will hit the first sector time as he gets through the top of Turn 6, through the center S's, and heads through Dunlop Curve, which is Turn 7. Full throttle it is through here, wind dependent, of course. And Yuki Tsunoda does a 30.8. So a couple of attempts there off of Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, who both have 30.6 seconds respectively in the first sector. And he heads into turn 11, the hairpin, the slowest corner on this circuit. Then he heads through 110R, which is full throttle all the way to the top of the highest point on this circuit, into Spoon Corner, turn 13. Such an important corner here, as we mentioned. Max Verstappen slowing out of his way. It's full throttle. The exit's so important through turn 14. You want the car to be as planted as possible. Try and limit that understeer and oversteer as well. Mid-corner oversteer, both is possible through that off-cambered corner. And it's a 40.3 there for him in the middle sector. 6th fastest at the moment in the middle sector for Yuki Tsunoda. So it's all about the braking as he heads down into turn 16. One last corner to contend with, across the line, and Yuki goes P5, a 28.7, 4 tenths off of George Russell. So, don't know fuel loads, we don't know engine modes. However, that is quite considerably slower than the rest of the drivers that you'd suspect Red Bull will be fighting with. We'll keep an eye out on Max, who's starting his lap now as well. Lando Norris has slowed again through the middle sector up to turn 11. He's set the fastest first sector. That McLaren is struggling through turn 9. They've had a multiple amount of offs through turn 9, and I wonder if that could bite them on the behind come qualifying this afternoon, because Lando's backed out of it again. I'm going to assume that is the case, but that's the corner that I've seen Piastri and Norris dip their wheel into the gravel multiple times. Max Verstappen, a 30.8 for him in the first sector. They're comfortably, I mean, that's 4 tenths off of Lando Norris's first sector there. 2 tenths off the McLaren's Max in the Red Bull in the first sector. We'll see how his second sector time is as he heads through Spoon Corner. Being held up here by potentially Pierre Gasly, so might be affected here as he heads down through 130. 40.1 for him. Puts him third fastest, so much better middle sector for Max. That's good. We'll see if he got affected there through Spoon Corner. But you can see Lando most definitely backed out of the middle sector. What is Max able to do here? Is he able to conjure up some magic in the last sector? He is. So he recovered well there, Max, in the middle and last sector. Actually, no, he didn't recover well in the last sector. At 17.7, he's 2 tenths off of Leclerc. 9th fastest. His middle sector was very good, but the last sector wasn't great, and the first sector wasn't great. So better for Max. A tenth separating him and Tsunoda at the moment. That's good for Tsunoda. Very good for Tsunoda, as Piastri's going a lot quicker. Sub 40-second middle sector for him. Andrew, thank you for joining as a member of the pit crew, by the way, buddy. Thank you. I did see that come through. Just keep an eye on these performance runs at the moment, as we see Piastri, for the first time this weekend, we see a driver go sub 28 seconds. Here we go. This is true performance here now for these drivers. So, interestingly, Lando Norris, even though his first sector time is yellow there at 30.5, it's slower than his fastest first sector. It's still faster than what Piastri just set there on that 27.9. So, is Lando, once again, Lando's had a wobble again. Lando's had issues again in that middle sector. Look at him go slow. I think he's had a snap of oversteer through the hairpin there, and he's backed out of it again. He's had a big moment through the hairpin. I believe it looked like he was heading into that hairpin very quickly, and he's considerably slowed there on the exit. So I think Lando's had a big moment on the exit of the hairpin, or he's had to control the car, maybe too heavy on the throttle. We'll see. But Lando's struggling to get a lap in here. Interesting. Oscar is more comfortable in the car. You're telling me, Liddy. Maybe. But Lando needs to get it together. Lando on a recharge lap? No, he definitely wasn't. He was quick in the first sector. He was quick. He was very quick. So I'm watching an onboard of Lando from his previous lap, where he did indeed go wide. No, sorry. Yeah, he didn't touch the gravel. He did touch the gravel slightly. Yeah, touched the gravel on his last lap. But this lap, I don't know what happened there. Don't know what happened for him, but he's definitely having issues in that middle sector. So George Russell going quick in the middle sector there. Looks like George Russell could be setting the fastest lap here. I'll tell you what, keep an eye on Georgie. Keep an eye out on Georgie here. He could be a dark horse. A 28.077 for him. 0.08 of a second separating him and Oscar Piastri. Antonelli up into P8. That's better from Antonelli, but 1.1 seconds off of his... I mean, it's 1.1 seconds basically off of his teammate there. So Antonelli's struggling. Lawson is out on a fresh set of softs, as is Bortoletto, as is Sainz as well. We can see who else is out there. Hadjar's on a brand new set of softs, also about to start a lap. Sainz up into P9. Ooh, that's not good for Sainz, is it? 8 tenths down. Albon up into P5. 3 tenths quicker, almost 4 tenths quicker than his teammate there. Albon's definitely started this season strong and has got a handle on that Williams. Of course, understandably, been at the team a lot longer than Carlos Sainz, but Sainz struggling to get up to speed in that Williams, isn't he? Gasly went up lightning there. Well, lightning for an Alpine at least. Right, who is on a lap? I'm trying to keep an eye out on who's started an actual lap. So Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc are on laps right now. So we'll keep an eye out on those two on a fresh set of softs. So they're both... Charles Leclerc is heading through Dunlop Corner, which is turn 7. But has he backed out of it? I think Charles Leclerc's backed out of that lap. Yes, he has. So Charles Leclerc's backed out of the lap. Very difficult for these drivers to get laps in with this traffic at the moment. Of course, even if a car is going quite slowly, they're still throwing off enough dirty air in front through this high-loaded circuit to cost performance of these cars. So Lewis Hamilton seems to have continued his lap here. A 30.7 first sector for him, so not overly great, really. That's 3 tenths off of Lando Norris in the first sector. Isaac Hadjar's going quite nicely. A improvement for him, you can see. 12th place at the moment. He's just gone full fastest in the second sector out of anyone. So how can Hadjar improve here in the last sector? Where will he go? Will he be best of the rest and get ahead of Albon? No, only P9 for him at the moment. It is still practice. We still don't know fuel loads, battery modes, engine modes. So there's loads of caveats here in relation to pace. We will see the cars go considerably quicker in a few hours' time in qualifying. As Lewis Hamilton did a faster middle sector. but not that. Still 4 tenths off of George Russell there. So lots of pace still on the table for the Ferraris for sure. As Lewis does improve his fastest lap, but yeah, I think quite interrupted there by traffic for both Ferraris as Charles did back out. How about Liam Lawson? How's he getting on? He's improving. Bit of a slow first sector for him, just behind his teammate. And yeah, this is going to be slower than Hadjar. It is going to be slower. He had a very slow middle sector here, and he goes P12 at the moment. So yeah, not good lap there for Liam, but no doubt he'll be building upon that. So he was close to Hadjar yesterday in FP2 on that push lap. So yeah, no caps, guys. Really. Just trying to keep the chat a bit cleaner. So no caps or no spamming of caps and emotes and stuff. There you can put emotes in, but yeah, obviously with these watch-alongs getting bigger and better. So thank you very much, guys. Over 2,000 of you here in FP3 right now. Just trying to keep the chat a little bit cleaner for you all. As Lando Norris pips his teammate there, finally gets a lap in. Only just pips his teammates as Piastri improves on his first sector. So we'll see if he improves, but catches a bit of traffic in the middle sector there, so might get affected here this time around. But there's still plenty on the table for the McLarens, I believe. So no cap is a saying, I know. Yuki can beat Max, guys. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. Yeah, the way that Max is driving that car at the moment and struggling to drive that car. Yuki is definitely... I mean, that's not to take anything away from Yuki, but it's just Yuki's doing a tremendous job. But the car is evidently not in the window that Max likes. So maybe Max is doing it on purpose. Here's a conspiracy for you. Maybe Max wants to leave Red Bull. Maybe he's tanking his own performance because he knows he's got that performance clause. That if he's not in a certain position in the driver's standings come halfway in the year or at a certain point in the season, he can leave for free. Maybe that's what he's thinking, you know. Tinfoil hat. Love a tinfoil hat here. Love a conspiracy. This is great commentary. Thank you, Bones. No, my pleasure. My absolute pleasure. Thank you. As Max does improve there. So, yeah, 3 temps on Yuki now. An improvement there for Max. As Charles Leclerc report, not happy with traffic. Has Charles Leclerc been able to get another lap in? No, he hasn't. So Charles Leclerc's had to back out of 2 push laps at the moment. So Charles Leclerc not happy at the moment, and I'm unable to get a couple of push laps in. But you can see it's quite a busy circuit out there at the moment. So let's have a little run through. So Lance at the bottom. I'm going to start from the bottom because I've really neglected those at the bottom. Stake F1 do seem to be the slowest here this weekend with... oh, no, another red flag. We predicted there'd be another red flag. There's no one who's crashed. And there's got to be a track fire somewhere. 6 minutes 20 remaining. 6 minutes 20 remaining, and there's another red flag. I did predict there'd be another red flag. It was too good to be true. It was too good to be true, guys. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Where's this one? Where's the fire this time? This doesn't bode well for quali, does it? It doesn't bode well for quali. If we've got another one... no, George still hasn't signed an extension with Merck. No, he has. He's the only driver, I think, on the grid who hasn't got a contract for 2026, or at least in the top teams. So yes, well, excluding Red Bull, of course, because Red Bull do what they want, evidently, from what we've just seen. But yeah, George doesn't have a contract for 2026. You think Max is trying to join the World Endurance Championship? He will do eventually. Yeah, he will do eventually. Yeah, it is another fire. And where is that? Where is that? That is down at 1... That's at 130R. So just on the entry, just before the entry to 130R on the right-hand side, there's a couple of patches about a few meters away from each other that are on fire. There we go. That's somewhere else that we haven't seen a fire here yet. So, yeah, who knows where else there'll be one later on this afternoon. This is record breaking. This is record breaking red flags, isn't it? And now this is the most red flags of F1 in a week. 6 red flags. Oh, my goodness. They stopped showing Stroll because of his true power. The grass is in cahoots with Ferrari. At least there potentially won't be fiery red flags in the main race. Yes, so we shouldn't see this happen tomorrow, guys, because it is predicted to be a wet race. So yeah, do not fear. We won't be seeing red flags tomorrow unless it's too wet and they go red flag, because we've seen that plenty of times before at Suzuka. So yeah. Why did the visuals go out of focus from time to time? What, my visuals, or just like your stream? If your stream goes out of focus from time to time, you just need to, you're probably running it at too high resolution and just need to reduce it on YouTube. That's all. What is causing these fires? So it's basically the grass is super dry. It's very burnt out grass, which is quite surprising at Suzuka, because normally it's quite lush and they get plenty of rain there. But it seems to have been quite dry in the area. And because of that, the cars are running very low to the ground. It's quite bumpy at Suzuka. And the skid plate is throwing up lots of sparks. Sparks on dry grass, fire. Simple as, really. So, how hot is it over there? Not hot. Look, 14.6 degrees air temperature. That's not hot at all. It's just been dry. That's the problem. So, fire again, Ivan. Fire again. That's why there's a red flag. So, I don't... Oh, wait on. Oh, my goodness. Gabriele Bortoleto. Jesus. Oh, my goodness. Gabriele Bortoleto just had the biggest snap of oversteer through 130R. Oh my goodness. That is crazy car control from Gabriele Bortoleto. He was evidently scared shitless on the radio afterwards, as he said something broke on the tyre. And yeah, he nearly went flying off at 130R there. Well held. Well held from Gabriele Bortoleto. Yeah. That is the craziest corner to be going round and have a snap of oversteer. But yeah, I don't think we're going to get any more running here. If they're not able to put those fires out quickly enough, probably see drivers to go round and maybe do a practice start. The practice start was aborted yesterday as well. So they weren't able to do that because of the late fires that we saw. But yes, we had a fire earlier on at the start of the session, and now we've got one at the end, unfortunately. Yeah, Marianne. It's called a hosepipe and water comes out magic. Yeah, but the problem is, BB, is that do you realise how large of an area Suzuka is? To try, I don't think they've got that water to hand. That's the problem. These repeated fires are not making the track prep crew look very good. They should have done a much better job anticipating this situation. Yeah, but I mean, this is the problem, is that I don't think any other motorsport series comes to Suzuka and has this issue arises. I don't think they throw off sparks like this unless there is a crash. So I understand why they're not prepared for it, because I don't think that they've ever had this at this circuit before. So yeah, I can't water it, freeze overnight, then you got ice. Yeah, and apparently it's been frosty in the mornings as well. That's what I've seen. So if it rains tonight and freezes, that could make tomorrow quite interesting. No, it won't. It won't rain and freeze overnight. I don't think it's that cold. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be that cold tomorrow. But yeah, can I show the sector times? Of course we can. So sector times, as we have 1 minute remaining now, and it looks like this session isn't going to get underway again. Maybe for a practice start, but that's it. Here are the sector times at the moment. Not totally relevant because we've had a lot of traffic out there. We've had a lot of performance runs. Session, unfortunately, will not be resumed, as you can see there. But yeah, there hasn't been any... there's been lots of laps here that have been interrupted by traffic. Charles Leclerc didn't even really get a proper full lap in. Oh, no. Sorry, Gabriele Bortoleto touched the grass on entry to 130R. So just misjudging the width of his F1 car there, and was very lucky to control it. Good car control still, nonetheless. But yeah, the tyre didn't break. It was just a case of him touching the grass there. But yeah, that's the sector times at the moment. Look, the McLarens are quite comfortably quick, as you can see there, kind of across the board, which we expect of them this weekend. But there is improvements for Ferrari and of Mercedes as well, no doubt. Verstappen struggling in that Red Bull at the moment, just probably hoping to be best of the rest and maybe utilise the wet weather conditions that are coming tomorrow. And yeah, that's basically it. So that is it. Session will not be resumed. I don't even think we're going to get a practice start, unfortunately, as they're trying to as they're going to try and get those fires under control. So, yeah, really 2 interrupted practice sessions there. How much has that affected the teams heading into qualifying this afternoon? We will see. Are we going to see some an unexpected grid tomorrow, potentially? Just watching Max Verstappen as Max saying, yeah, I picked up a bit of front, but at the same time, I'm also losing the rear now. It's all over the shop because in some corners it's not too bad, and yeah, then it becomes again unavailable. So Max struggling with that Red Bull at the moment, just getting understeer through the corners, not liking that car at all. Not liking that car at all for the Dutchman. So we'll see how if he can still put out some Dutch magic later on this afternoon. In qualifying, we know that he's more than capable of doing that, but the way that Red Bull is handling at the moment, it's the complete opposite direction to where Max wants it compared to how it was driving in China and Melbourne, where he could at least drive through those issues. Did Bortoletto start the fire? Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think he did. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in as always. That is it for FP3. Lando Norris tops the timing sheets with a 1:27.9. Piastri very close there. Once again, nothing separating the two of them. I do suspect that we will see even quicker times come qualifying this afternoon. Remember, pole position last year was a 28.1, and we've seen thus far pole position be considerably quicker, a second or more quicker than last year's pole. George Russell in P3 quietly going about his business. He could sneak a front row start or even pole position later on. We will see. Charles Leclerc didn't even get an opportunity to set a proper performance run because of getting caught in traffic. So improvements there for Charles Leclerc. Max, maybe the best he can get out of that car. Still expect him to improve, but we will see in a few hours' time. Lewis Hamilton, also improvements to be had for him. Alex Albon, best of the rest at the moment in P7, continuing the good form that he's got, and see if he can get another Q3 performance. His third consecutive race weekend, getting into Q3 later on. Gasly in P8, Alpine seeking the only team at the moment not to score a single point in the Constructors, which is absolutely amazing considering we're only 2 race weekends into the season. He'll be looking to get a decent point after 2 11th place finishes and, of course, a DQ last week. Tsunoda, 8 attempts back from P1 there. Look, if he can get it into Q3, that's a positive for Tsunoda and much better than what Lawson was able to do. Hadjar in P10, looks like that maybe the RBs, could they get into Q3 again, potentially. Carlos Sainz, some way off of his teammate there, 3 attempts off, needs improvements. Liam Lawson, getting to grips with that RB car in P12. Antonelli struggling here this weekend, struggling. We'll see if he can get that car into Q3, but he may struggle to do so. Jack Doohan, good to see him back out on circuit after that big crash into turn 1, 185 miles an hour yesterday. Testament to F1's safety measures now that he was able to get back out there today. And the mechanics as well to get that car in tip-top shape for this FP3 session. Alonso, P15, Behrman, P16, Bortoletto, 17th, Ocon, 18th, Stroll, 19th, and Hulkenberg, 20th. And yeah, what's interesting there is really the Aston Martins do not look quick at all. They look like they're struggling. Haas and Stake, I mean, they're both fighting to get out of Q1, to be honest with you, if they can. Don't even know if it's possible because they seem to be very slow. Unless Haas is hiding some pace somewhere, and we haven't seen their true pace, but we will see. But yeah, that's it, guys. That is it for this session in FP3. Unfortunately, interrupted there at the end to another fire, a trackside fire. So yeah, sometimes we listen to your comments without chatting. I know, yeah, no, I appreciate that, Tiger. I know there's over 1,500. There was over 2,000 of you in here earlier, and I know that there's not 2,000 chatters in the chat. So I appreciate everyone who tunes in consistently, and I'm on YouTube. You have the luxury of being able to see returning viewers, and it's very high. So that is the success. Consistency and having returning viewers is the key to being successful on YouTube. And yeah, I appreciate everyone who keeps tuning back in as always. So yes, we're back in for another 2 hours. The live stream for the quali session is already up, so you can go and wait there. Open your browser and turn your notifications on, because you'll get notified half an hour before the stream is going to go live. And yeah, we will be back in a few hours' time for qualifying. It's going to be an interesting one. McLaren definitely quickest, but they're not faultless. They are having issues through that middle sector, turn 9 in particular. Could that come to hamper them in qualifying? We will see. We will see. Hey Jeff, Electronica, thank you, buddy, thank you. What happened to the Ferraris on new softs and why did they not do any long runs? Only 13 laps, whilst others did upwards of 17. They just did some running on the softs, maybe saving tyres for the race tomorrow. And the soft tyre maybe a race tyre tomorrow, I don't know. But yeah, they had laps interrupted by traffic. It was quite a busy circuit out there when they were doing their performance runs. So yeah, there's definitely pace in the back pocket there for the Ferraris, for sure. Not so much how much more potential there is for Verstappen. To be honest with you, struggling with that car, lots of understeer, which he hates. George Russell is the one to keep an eye on personally. Fane, thank you for the $1.99 US dollars. Thank you, buddy. Did Yuki show Liam that there are levels in F1? Not yet. Not yet. Look, qualifying is the first official session where really you got to judge Yuki. Practice is still just practice. I think there is also the caveat as well that, look, Liam was not afforded the opportunity of racing at a circuit in this Red Bull, a circuit he's familiar at. Yuki is. Yuki's also coming off of a very high, a big high, and he's confident because of how he's performed in the first two races in that RB. Lawson, of course, is in much more of a lower confidence, a much more of a downer than Yuki. Also, Red Bull have said they've made changes to the car over the last 2 weeks as well, to try and make that car better balanced. At the moment, I think it's suiting Yuki. It seems to be he seems to be in control of the car. It's not suiting Max. It's moved further away from Max's driving style, but it seems to suit Tsunoda. So I don't think Yuki, as well as he's doing, I don't think he's driving the same car as what Lawson had to contend with at the last two races. So yeah, I think there's those caveats, but ultimately Lawson should have still done better. But yeah, look, Lawson will be looking to improve and potentially get into Q3, have a solid Q2, and build some confidence on this weekend. But yeah, there we go, guys. Thank you for tuning in. As always, we'll be back in a few hours' time. I'm going to go maybe have a nice little power nap, and yeah, we'll be back in a few hours. So turn your notifications on, and we'll see you then. Bye. Also, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Let's get the stream to 38k. Bye.